Hello, Lisa here. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to Tarot by the Book. So if you are new to this series, Tarot by the Book is a weekly series where I give us a general reading for the collective for the week ahead. And I use a randomly selected deck from my collection. And after I've done an intuitive 3-card reading for the week ahead, we take a look together at the guidebook and we see what the guidebook author had to say about the cards that we pulled. So you get a chance to sort of see the deck in action. You also get a chance to see how I intuitively read, if that is something you're interested in seeing. And you get a chance to get a feel for the guidebook. And I just think it's a really fun way to see tarot decks in action, see more about sort of the creator's intentions and maybe how the guidebook reads, particularly if you are somebody who works with your guidebooks regularly, and I do. And I don't think, no matter how much time I spend reading the tarot, I don't think I'll ever stop working with guidebooks because I just love the different takes they bring. And somebody actually commented that on one of my last Tarot by the Book videos and actually said that, and I was like, yeah, that's a very, very good point. So the Whispering Spirits is a tarot deck by Joanna Nelson. And she is the creatress also of the Mons Tarot and is also working on a new deck for 2020. And I love her whimsical style. The Mons Tarot is my soul deck. It's a deck that I absolutely adore working with. Her decks are a little bit on the larger side. So compared to a standard tarot, well, I don't have a standard tarot card here to show you because I'm working with this one at the moment. But they are a little bit bigger. They're quite a stretch. I do have big hands, but I am able to rifle shuffle them. She gets, I don't know where she gets them printed from, but they're always very, very nice quality. And I'm just going to give it another shuffle. We'll take a look at some images and then we'll get ready to do our reading. Now, I do like to have timestamps down below so that if you want to skip ahead to right to where we start working on focusing for the reading, and if you want to watch that intuitive reading part, or if you want to skip ahead to where we're looking at what the guidebook has to say about our week ahead reading, then that's where you'll find that. So yeah, the artwork you can see is very whimsical. It really connects with, I think, spirit energy really well. Her decks in general just feel very high vibe and very spiritual in nature. I love these backs. And this particular deck does have almost like a fae quality to it. So I really, really like that about this one. So in just a moment, I'm going to be getting started with our intuitive reading for the week ahead. I typically work with a 3-card spread. I don't know if that will ever change. We'll see. But it's my favorite for the week ahead. It's the spread I use for myself. And the 3 positions are the energy for the week ahead, the obstacle to be aware of for the week ahead, and the advice for the week ahead. Now, that being said, if you've got something pressing going on in your life right now, you may not want to look at these cards from the perspective of generally the week ahead. You may want to look at these cards from the perspective of what you really need to know right now about a particular situation. So you can still apply those positions and my intuitive reading to a particular situation. Just go into that with that intention, and that's exactly what you'll get out of it. So if you are participating in the reading portion, then what I'd like to ask you to do is just settle in. Take a few deep breaths as I shuffle and just focus on either what you need to know for the week ahead or focus on your question. And then as I intuitively read the cards, you can apply those to that situation or that question. Energy, obstacle, and advice. Oops. And one last shuffle and we'll get started. All right. So the energy, I'm going to move this little guidebook out of the way here for a second. The energy is the 4 of Cups. The obstacle is the King of Cups. And the advice is the 6 of Wands. So, oh, looks like I got a little bit from my match on my finger there. So 4 of Cups, King of Cups, 6 of Wands. The first thing that I noticed in these cards is that these are all looking in the same direction, which tells me there's not a lot of conflict between these energies. These energies are all interrelated and they are all moving you forward. even the obstacle, which is an interesting thing to take notice of. When we're looking at our energy of the week, the Four of Cups, we have this character who's sort of looking out over the horizon or wherever he's gazing, wherever his gaze is, and he's being a little bit oblivious to opportunities and offers for growth and for like personal upgrading his life is the word that's popped into my head. He's kind of missing an opportunity because he's so busy gazing at or worrying over his current situation. The Four of Cups is it's a stability number, right? The 4 is a stability number, and we're looking at the realm of emotion. And so in this particular case, we're looking at somebody who feels like things are fine. No major hurdles, no major hiccups, but there's also almost like this complacency and this lack of noticing those opportunities when we settle into this place. When we settle into this place of emotional stability, we often miss opportunities to make things even better. Things might be fine now, but this is very much the fine card. And here we see Spirit is offering a little bit of something extra if he just would notice and pay attention. And so for the energy of the week ahead, we're really looking at an energy of perhaps being fairly content, calm, maybe no hiccups, but also a tendency this week to get a little wrapped up in your head, a little bit less present and aware, especially when you're dealing with other people in your relationships. Make sure that you're really listening and you're taking in what they're saying, because a lot of times this card comes about when we're sort of set in our ways or we're set in the dynamics of our relationship and we kind of don't notice those subtle hints that there's opportunities to improve things or to grow. Perhaps there's some subtle constructive criticism that comes your way that you might miss if you're not paying attention, and that might be something you really need to hear. So the energy of the week is that sort of calm complacency, and that might be fine, but be aware that you may miss some opportunities if you're not vigilant, okay? So that's the energy of the week ahead. When we're looking at the obstacle, we have the King of Coins. The King of Coins is very single-minded in a way. He has a tendency to feel very confident. He's accomplished what he needs to accomplish, but he also has a tendency to be a little bit fixated and a little bit bogged down in the material. Our King of Coins he's gotten where he's gotten for a reason, right? There's a reason that he's become as successful as he has in his life. There's a reason that he has things to be grateful for. He has a legacy to pass on, and all of that is wonderful. However, sometimes he can get a little narrow in his focus and be a little bit fixed and a little bit difficult to convince to try things differently. We have a little bit of stubborn energy sometimes that kind of creeps into the King of Coins. It's just something to be aware of as a potential for where we might fall down on situations this week. Our King of Coins is definitely letting us know that as far as a possible obstacle of the week, that you might want to watch out for any tendencies towards stubbornness, either your own or somebody else's. And make sure that you widen your view, which is kind of a similar message that we were getting from the Four of Cups. The obstacle this week may actually be an overfixation on a detail or an overfixation on a plan, or being a little bit too rigid in general, or perhaps even a little too attached to your image or how people perceive you, and sometimes that can get us into trouble. So beware of that as a possible obstacle of the upcoming week. The King of Coins may also represent a really earthy, grounded, routine-oriented person in your life who's definitely the master of their domain, but also sometimes can be a little bit less emotive or a little bit less able to connect. So extend some compassion and just make space to meet people where they are this week if you have a difficult person that's bringing some of that energy to the table, whether it's at work or at home. And just remember that sometimes the best way to coax somebody who's so fixed on a particular plan or direction is to sort of, again, meet them where they are. Find out how you can work with that plan or gently encourage a different way of thinking rather than going to battle, because this is somebody who's going to walk away from battle, like they're not interested, right? So possible obstacle if that's coming from outside of yourself. I do think for a lot of us, this is going to be an internal battle of being aware that we're getting a little bit bogged down and just free up that energy. These are both cards that indicate that to me. When we're moving into the Six of Wands as our advice for the week, this is definitely about remembering and celebrating and experiencing gratitude for the positive things in your life and letting yourself enjoy your successes. A lot of times the Six of Wands comes through for myself and for clients when we need to notice where we've done well. It's very easy, and this could be some of where this Four of Cups energy is coming from. It's very easy to notice the things that don't go well, and sometimes when things are going well, they seem like they're just okay for now and we're waiting for the other shoe to drop. But sometimes we just need to sink into the moment and really let ourselves be present and enjoy and appreciate the positive things that we have and give ourselves a little bit more credit. So this week, allow yourself to really notice the positive and give yourself some credit. Don't tune out. You know, really make sure that you're listening for those messages that come through for you this week, whether it's in your tarot practice, whether it's at work, whether it's with friends. Really pay attention to the messages you are receiving so that you don't tune that stuff out. And just be aware that there's some of that sort of stubborn, stuck, rigidity sort of energy that might bog things down. So that, my friends, is our week ahead reading, the intuitive reading I've given you from the Whispering Spirits Tarot by Joanna Nelson. We're going to go ahead now and dive into the guidebook and see what the authors had to say. So this guidebook is by Trish Sullivan, but I believe there's a little, I thought there was also a little bit in here from Joanna Nelson as well. So let's take a look first at our Four of Cups, which again was our energy of the week. So this is organized coins, then swords, then wands, then cups last. So our Four of Cups, I'm going to pull the card out here so you can see it. So keyword, apathy, distractions, contemplation. Dissatisfied, our spirit waits for happiness to find them. A cloud approaches to offer a drink and show there are several more cups nearby, but goes unnoticed. Message from the Whispering Spirits. The answers are there, waiting for you to find them. The universe may be bringing messages to you in neon lights, but while you're tying your happiness to anyone or anything else, you're not seeing them. Stop looking for external validation. It won't bring you the joy you seek. Instead, consider what you do have and what is already within your reach. Look within and work out how you can make your life better. No one else can do it for you. So I feel like that message really supported the message that kind of came through for me when I was reading this card intuitively. Definitely there's this idea or that comparison to the fact that I said that there's messages going to be coming through this week. We really need to pay attention. And I think that was echoed in the guidebook. So let's take a look at the King of Coins. Coins was our first suit. We get about a half page on each card. And sometimes I really like these shorter guidebooks when they're really punchy like this. Okay, so here's our King of Coins. So our keywords are authority, success, and stability. The king stands, coin in one hand, scepter in the other, surveying the land and property that their hard work has brought, knowing that maintaining all of this is a never-ending task, but nothing they cannot handle. You have every right to be proud of yourself. The secret to your... Oh, that's interesting. This is sort of mirroring what we get from this, what I got from the Six of Wands. Okay, sorry. You have every right to be proud of yourself. The secret to your success is a lot of effort, but not everyone sees that. Feel free to educate them. Celebrate your achievements, but remember to keep your feet on the floor as you do so. Maintain a balance, enjoyment with the knowledge that this enjoyment is paid for by hard work and sacrifice. Okay, so staying grounded and earthy. Now, in the obstacle position, I was looking a little bit more at sort of the reversed or shadowy aspects of this card. So in that case, I'm looking at sort of the shadow of that success. If I were to have read this guidebook before intuitively reading this card, I would have said that the shadow of what this message is about overconfidence, perhaps being a little bit egotistical, a little too sure of yourself, and losing sight of the big picture. So I think that does similarly echo what I was saying. I was talking about stubbornness. Intuitively, I was talking about rigidity and plans. Whereas I feel like with this author, this is again Trish Sullivan, I feel like she's talking a little bit more about the idea of confidence being the main key of this card, of celebrating your successes, of being aware that you've worked hard to get where you are. So the shadow or the obstacle of this card, to me, would represent perhaps maybe being a little bit too cocky, coming off a little bit too egotistical. So watch out for that energy as well this week. Looking at the Six of Wands, let's see what we have. So in the Six of Wands, our keywords are success, recognition, and accomplishment. Riding home, our bee spirit proudly brandishes a wand that they've tied their victory wreath onto to make their very own war banner. Leaf, air, and flower spirits all gather to greet them as they travel past, to cheer them on and shower the bee spirit with their appreciation and recognition. Even if you don't really want to be in the spotlight, it's nice to know that what you do and who you are is appreciated. So grab the chances coming your way to receive that acknowledgement, the gratitude. Be reminded that you're not taken for granted, that this is all worth your time. Give yourself permission to bask for a few minutes. So that's really, really interesting. I think the overall message was the same as what kind of came through for me intuitively, but I do think that these two cards were almost reversed. This one was sort of about noticing your success, in the guidebook, and this one was more about like basking in other people's recognition of that success. I still think it's really interesting that all cards are moving in the same direction. I do think this is a very forward-moving week for the collective coming up. I'm really interested to hear your guys' thoughts on these cards down below. Definitely give me your feedback. Let me know what you were thinking. I really enjoy doing this series. Remember, if you like my reading style, you're more than welcome to book a reading with me at supportivetarot.com. I do have about a 5 to 7 business day turnaround on my client readings right now, but I love doing them. I have several to choose from, so check that out if you are interested. And remember, as always, to like, share, and subscribe. If you enjoy my content, click the little bell if you want a notification every time I put a new video up or if I go live, which I do sometimes do pretty spontaneously. And I will see you guys all in the next one. Thank you so much. Bye.